Tonight's story involves the curious and puzzling disappearance of Elisa Lam. The details of this story are completely factual, although there is some debate on the cause of this event. Please exercise caution prior to listening. Elisa was a 21-year-old Canadian college student attending the University of British Columbia. Her family immigrated to Canada from Hong Kong, where they opened a restaurant in Burnaby, British Columbia. Elisa frequently posted photos of models in fashionable clothing and accounts of her life in a blog started in mid-2010. In 2012, she was forced to drop several classes due to medical reasons. This caused Elisa, in her own words, to feel so utterly directionless and lost. She shared these feelings in a blog titled, "You're always haunted by the idea you're wasting your life." She was worried that these dropped classes would negatively affect her academic career. I give you these details not only to describe how this tragedy began, but because I want you to get to know Elisa Lam. She was not a nameless face. She was a mostly normal, college-aged woman that had family, hopes, dreams, and worries like all of us. I want to give Elisa Lam the respect she and her family deserve for having to go through this horrific event. Thank you. On January 26, 2013, Elisa Lam arrived at the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles via Amtrak train from San Diego and was headed to Santa Cruz as part of her solo trip around the West Coast. This trip was most likely a way for Elisa to get away from the struggles of her health and increased academic stress. Her family had cautioned her about traveling alone, but Elisa was determined to brave this trip by herself. Although she went against her family's wishes, Elisa made sure to check in with her parents every day of the trip and to let them know that she was safe. She was scheduled to check out of the Cecil on January 31st, but upon not hearing from her, Elisa's family notified the police. After searching the premises of the Cecil Hotel, the police were unable to locate Miss Lam. After further investigation, police found something strange on the hotel's surveillance system. They found a video which showed Elisa Lam in one of the hotel's elevators, acting in a bizarre manner. The video, though heavily pixelated, displays Elisa stepping into the lift and pressing all of the elevator buttons. She keeps stepping in and out of the elevator while poking her head out and staring down the hallways of each floor. Towards the end of the video, she steps out of the elevator and can be seen talking and gesturing as if she's conversing with someone. No one besides Elisa was captured on video. Police were still unable to locate Elisa Lam. Over the course of almost 3 weeks, residents began complaining of low water pressure and a weird taste coming from the hotel's tap water. This was eventually looked into by hotel maintenance. On February 19th, and 2 weeks after the video was released by authorities, Santiago Lopez, a maintenance worker, found Miss Lam's naked body floating in one of the hotel's water tanks. According to the Los Angeles Fire Department, the water tank that housed Elisa Lam's body had to be cut open to retrieve her. There's speculation about how Miss Lam ended up in the hotel water tank, but the official answer, and what Occam's razor suggests, is that Elisa was off her medication, which she had taken regularly to keep her anxiety and bipolar disorder at bay. The lack of mental stability without her medication caused her to act erratically. She climbed the fire escape and ended up finding her way struggling to stay afloat in the hotel's water supply. There's some additional information to consider. The hotel insists that the water tank was bolted shut, and the door leading to it was locked. At the same time, there's also a report of the water tank being open at the time that they had found Miss Lam's body. On her social media accounts, she often claimed to believe that she was being stalked. If that is the case, her stalker could have used the film Dark Water as inspiration for how he would take her life, as there's a creepy amount of coincidences with the film. Like, a lot of coincidences with the film. The Cecil Hotel has been the scene of multiple murders and suicides, as well as housing a serial killer by the name of Richard Ramirez, also known as the Night Stalker, in 1991. Multiple guests have reported creepy and supernatural occurrences in the hotel previously as well. There's one last fact I struggle with about this story. The 4-foot by 8-foot water tanks were not seated on the ground, but were mounted on top of concrete blocks. On top of that, there was no fixed access to the tanks, meaning that workers would have to use a ladder to gain access, which was reportedly not left on the roof. When the police were initially searching for Miss Lam, they used tracking dogs, right? Those dogs didn't pick up any scent trail at the time of the search, meaning that her body could have found its way into the water tanks after the search began. Whether Elisa was off her meds and found her way into the hotel water tanks in a vulnerable state, murdered by her stalker, or encountered a supernatural entity is up to you. But one thing is for sure. What happened to Elisa Lam is an absolute tragedy. If you preferred this story to the stories that I normally narrate, go ahead and curl up that mustache and tie the like button to the train tracks, as well as leaving a comment below describing how you felt. And just know, if you're ever in your house and you feel like someone's watching you, that's just me behind the curtains.